Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping.
You know my name yet?
And Anthony Lionheart Smith.
Anthony Smith is back on the show. Believe you me, that is correct. But you're not at home, Anthony. You are currently in Denver.
I am in Denver. I'm finishing up this last little bit of what we're gonna call a training camp, and we're gonna go do this thing.
Yeah, so last week I commentated the fights, and as you know, we do the fighter meetings. And I'm on there and I'm talking to Zach. For anyone that doesn't know, he's a vice president, one of the heads of production. And I'm asking him questions about, what's going on with 303 and all the rest of it. And he's like, put it like this. He mentioned a couple of things, but he's like, I can't go into too much detail. He said, have your notifications on your phone today, right? Because that was the day that Dana announced and made all the changes and all the rest of it. He did not allude in one little way that on that announcement, it was going to say Anthony Smith versus Carlos Ulberg. And I thought, you bastard, Anthony.
He might not have known. It wasn't even good. It wasn't even good until that night. Like right before he announced it. Right before he announced it is when we got it done.
So talk me through it, obviously.
So I've been training anyways. When Jamal was hurt, he was in Omaha training with me. So I never stopped training after I fought in Brazil. I was doing the strength and conditioning, and I really was just doing it because I got so sick of getting so out of shape and so heavy, and then a fight pops up, and then it takes me 2 or 3 weeks or whatever to get in shape. Of
the pre-camp.
Yeah, I'm doing 8-week training camp, but 4 of it is dying because I'm out of shape. I'm at altitude. The whole team's beating the shit out of me. I'm not hanging because I'm heavy. And I just I'm done with it. I'm done getting out of shape. So I'm just going to stay in shape and then I'll have to get ready. So that was kind of the mindset. Well, then Jamal was fighting Carlos Ulberg. And so we've always kind of trained together. So he came to Omaha, Danny went to Vegas. So we were just kind of, training together, and I was in really good shape. We were sparring, 5 rounds in a row together, and they were super high paced. I mean, they were really competitive rounds. Like we were in there getting after it. And, then I don't want to tell his business too much, but he was battling through some stuff. And the last couple of days he was physically mentally? Physically. Yeah. He was really struggling the last couple of days. And it wasn't just the knee. It's really the only one they're talking about, but he has some other things that are really lingering and bothering him a lot. So the last couple of days were rough. That's the fluid they took off of that cyst. Ugh, it's gross. Yeah. But he was in a lot of pain and he was struggling. So we spent Saturday. We spent Saturday out at my uncle's farm, rode razors, hung out. He flew home Sunday and then got the imaging done on Monday and called, that he called me, and it was him, his manager, his coaches, and we just kind of talked about it. And he wasn't able to do it. He just couldn't, not at the highest level where he could be successful. And so I just thought that was it. Okay, cool. He's got a pull. It's not a big deal. Well, then they called me and they were like, we heard you've been training with Jamal. Are you in shape? How's your weight? Are you interested? And so I kind of just thought about it, Mike. And I did say on here to you, no more short notice fights, but
you did.
I don't really look at this. And
you were very convincing.
Yeah, I don't really look at this as a short notice fight, though. Like, if I take, because we're on this journey where we're not worried about the title, we're not worried about all the bullshit. We're taking one at a time, and we're just going to do it like that. So then I just put this fight in its own little box. And I just thought, well, why wouldn't I take it? I'm in good shape. I've already been thinking about Carlos Ulberg for like 4 weeks. Like, in terms of how do I help Jamal, and my whole team in Omaha is Carlos Ulberg geared already. So like they've already watched the film. They've already come up with game plans. They've already seen where he's good, where he's not, where he could be exploited. We just flip that to me now instead of Jamal. So I just kind of put it in its own box and said, well, why wouldn't I? I'm in shape. My weight's low. I'm healthy. I'm not banged up, and I don't have the brain stress of being in a training camp for the last 4 or 5 weeks because I haven't been. I've been training like I am in camp, but I'm not. I haven't been stressed out about it. I'm not laying in bed thinking about Carlos Ulberg for 5 weeks.
Enjoying the process.
Yeah, I've just been hanging out training. It's been fun.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, let's do it. Because I'm like, before the Khalil fight was different. That was very much, could I win? Yes. But it was more like hoping that we could put ourselves in a position to win with the expectation that if I win, then that puts me in a better spot with the title. So I was taking a big risk, hoping to get a big reward. I'm not really taking a risk here because I don't feel like there's a lot on the line. Like I want to go in and I want to compete and I want to battle it out and I want to put in a performance I can be proud of and really go in there and just be the best me I can be. But there's no like, I'm not hanging this title thing over my head. I just want to go out there and have fun and I just want to fight and I want to go out there and win. And I don't know. I just couldn't find a reason not to. I'm just in a really good place.
Well, you know, when you look at it on paper, I mean, number one, you do look very lean. You look in shape, you know, so you clearly have been training. Yeah, it's nothing but positives, to be honest. I mean, you fought, when was it? Not too long ago. What, 2 months now? Maybe less? May.
Let me think here. May 1st. May 1st, yeah. Yeah,
so you fought May 1st, right? So you just fought then. You got paid then. Let's remember, this is why we do it. I know you get paid pretty handsomely as well. You know what I'm saying? So you get another payday. You get to go out there. You get to fight. You've already been kind of mentally prepping for Carlos Ulberg. I mean, that's huge in itself. If you're just replicating his style, you know. That means you got to analyze it.
I've already looked at him. I've already watched him and trying to do what he does.
Already halfway there. I mean, that's perfect. When you look at it on paper, I mean, listen, he's a really, really good striker, you know, let's be honest, but it's not like you can't strike either. But I think when it comes to mixed martial arts, I think if you can get him down to the ground, I think there's a very good possibility of it being a quick finish for you. Of course, it ain't going to be easy. He trains with Izzy. You know how to stop takedowns. He's good. You're not going to rush at him like, oh, man, what was his last name? What was his
Metafield.
Yeah, Alonzo. You're not going to do an Alonzo Menafield.
No. I think a full mixed martial arts fight is how you win this one. It's not. Yeah. I'm not going to go out there and stand in front of him because that's stupid. That's where he's best, especially when he gets swagging and he starts feeling himself. He feels good. He gets to his spots. He does mirror Izzy in a lot of ways. The way that they defend, they lean back. They both counter really well. But I think you make it a full mixed martial arts fight and make him worry about the wrestling, the clinch, the grappling, and I got the gas to do that. We can fight everywhere, and I'm going to force him to do that. And I'm confident that over 15 minutes he's not going to be able to stay ahead. The first round, I think he'll be really, really tough. I think he'll defend takedowns well. I think he'll manage the range really well. I think you just keep chipping away at him, and I think we'll get him out of there. But I feel really good about it.
That's the perfect game plan. And it's great to hear that because you're right. I mean, listen, could you compete on the feet? This is essentially what I said on Thursday's show. Can you compete on the feet? Of course you can. You know, is that the smartest way to victory? Absolutely not. You're playing his game. He's a kickboxer that has come over to mixed martial arts. You use your skill set. You know, you check your ego to one side. Yeah. But the big picture in terms of you and your family, your career, I mean, you go out there, you get paid again. You get to compete in the sport that you love. You raise your profile. It's a huge card. It's International Fight Week. And let's not forget that Alex Pereira is the main event. You go out there, you get the job done, you take him down, dream scenario, bam, bam, double leg. You get on top, Kimura, rear naked choke, whatever the case may be. You get on the microphone. You shout out the Believe You Me podcast. Then, I'm joking. And then you say, hey, Pereira, good luck in your fight. You get the job done. I'm here. I'm next. Look at that shit. This is what I'll do to you. You haven't fought a grappler yet. I'm not I don't know. Finish the sentence for me, Anthony. This is your post-fight
I'm not
speech.
an idiot, and I'm not going to stand in front of you and play that game. This is mixed martial arts, and we're gonna have a full fight. That's what we're going to do.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really thinking about that, but
think about it.
Yeah, but I'm just
it.
I'm just worried. I'm just worried about Carlos Ulberg.
Of course,
he's a tall task. He's really good at what he does. He's young. He's hungry. He's got a big opportunity in front of him. And I got to remember that when these guys fight me, I'm their world title fight, and they're trying to make a name off of me, and I got to make sure that doesn't happen. And I think he's got an incredible skill set on his feet. But I'm going to test him everywhere else too.
No, for sure. Well, every single fight is the most important fight of your career. You know that, because the ramifications with wins and losses in terms of your career, etc. But if you allow yourself to dream, if you look at the bigger picture, then it kind of does all kind of map out perfectly. You had a couple of skids.
If I cut a promo on Alex Pereira right afterwards.
I mean, look at this. I was saying this on the show Saturday night where we had to hype up your fight a little bit. Say, look at this. You have your ups and your downs. You've had 50 professional fights. You come in, you just beat Vitor Petrino. You come out here, you take out another hotly ranked guy on short notice. You get the respect of the world. You cut a promo with Alex Pereira. You two kind of have this kind of thing, competitiveness already. And then you fight Alex Pereira, who's now one of the biggest stars in the sport, and you win by rear naked choke. And not only do you get the championship, not only do you get your fight purse, but you say, yo, you owe me 50K, buddy.
And you owe me 50K. And you owe me 50K. I'm going to take that. I'll take that in cash.
Yeah. You know what? We're joking, of course. And Alex Pereira deserves a tremendous amount of respect. And I'm a huge fan of his. I really am. I mean, his attitude stepping up and taking these fights is what we like to see. It's what this game's all about.
What he's doing is crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
What he's done and what he's achieved is crazy. It really is.
I just can't believe that, he's out on this tour in Australia, hanging out, letting his toes heal up. He was like, 2 weeks? Yeah, let's do it. Okay. I love that.
Do you think there's a little part of him that maybe thinks I was able to dispatch of Jiri? What was it? Second round, I believe.
Yeah.
Dispatched of Jiri in round 2. He didn't really, get beat up too much. So maybe there's a little false sense of security there.
That's possible. I also think it was probably very matchup specific. Like he wouldn't have probably taken this fight with Magomed or,
no.
And I'm not trying to hype myself, but probably not with me, just because it's a different skill set. He's already trained.
The headline.
He's already trained for Jiri one time before, so he's familiar with him. He's been in there with him, so he's more familiar with him. There's not the stress and the shock and awe of the unknown. So he already knows what he's getting himself into. He's felt him. He knows how strong he is. He knows how fast he is. He knows how hard he hits. He kind of knows which way he likes to move. And I think when you're a guy like Alex Pereira and you have the type of eraser power that he has, you're probably pretty confident going into any fight short notice. If you can conserve your energy and land one of those erasers, you can. It doesn't matter if you're losing 90% of the fight, as long as you manage your energy. He did it with Israel Adesanya. Super high paced fight, deep into the 5th round, about to lose a decision, and was able to shut him off. So, I think when you have his type of skill set, you can get into these short notice fights, especially versus Jiri, who's not a world champion wrestler. He's not a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He's going to be taking you down and De La Riva sweeping you. It's not his style. Yuri's very hittable. If we're just being honest, I'm sure Alex feels very confident that he can get in there and touch him. So I think it was a good move on his part too, because it raises his profile significantly, makes him look like he's an absolute killer, and he is. It's brave. Yeah. It's very brave. But also you can do that while not being as unfamiliar and feeling as if that's as crazy as it actually is. So hats off to him. That's a big deal. It's a big risk. Big risk.
Oh, it's a big risk. Of course it is. But hey, it's always a risk anytime you step in there, fighting at this level. Lastly,
he does always seem to be training too, because you do maybe not in camp training, but you see a lot of videos of him, even when he's traveling the world, he's in all these different rooms that every time you see one, it's a different place. So it seems like he does do a fair bit of training on the road.
No, he's a professional. He's a champion. Just lastly on your fight, Anthony, this is what, excuse me, pardon me, just devoured breakfast after.
Oh, did you?
I've got to say, an insane workout. I went for it hard at the gym this morning myself. Excuse me. I just devoured the bread. I told you, I said, can we start 10 minutes later? I just shakes and everything. Smashed it. Yeah, so it's coming up. Perillo always kept telling me this when I took my fight on 2 weeks' notice against Rockhold. He's like, Mike, it ain't about a 2-week training camp. It's about how you've lived your life. It's about all the fighting and training that you've done ever since you started on this path. You know, so you've got all those skills that you've been. When did you start mixed martial arts? 15 years ago? 20 years ago?
2000, end of 2006, beginning of 2007.
Right, 17 years ago, something like that, 18 years. You know, it's 18 years worth of training and experiencing and analyzing the sport and breaking down fighters, and 50 odd times you've stepped foot in the octagon. Yeah, about 2 weeks. It's about the journey. It's about you. So all the best, Anthony.
Thank you.
Super, super excited for you. It's a massive opportunity. And of course, we all wish you the best of luck, buddy. I couldn't believe it when I saw it.
Well, I was gonna tell you.
I was like, this son of a bitch.
Yeah,
we don't even get a text.
I was gonna tell you, but I didn't know if it was gonna happen. Dana announced it before I had any idea that it was good to go. Because Ulberg lives in New Zealand or whatever. So with the time change, they said they were gonna reach out to him. I hadn't heard anything back. Dana announced it, and then Mick Maynard texted me and said, just so you know, we're good. Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. Nice. Well, anyway, congrats on that. Why this episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. So if you're thinking of giving therapy a try and you're too busy, you want to do it, but you keep finding a reason to put it off, then BetterHelp might be the fit for you, because it is designed to be as convenient as possible. It is all done entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, but more importantly, it's suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire, you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time. As I say, if you're busy, you haven't got to jump in the car, drive to the other side of town, pay for parking, walk in, sit down with somebody in a weird environment. That takes, if you've got a bit of anxiety or social issues, that's going to be a barrier to start off, and if you're just a busy go-getter, you're all over the place, you're flying, you're jet setting, but you want to talk about whatever your issue is. And we all have issues. Let's be honest, whether it's addiction, substance abuse, anxiety, depression, maybe you got a bad temper, whatever the case may be, speaking to a licensed professional therapist that BetterHelp offers will definitely help and help you become the best version of yourself. So give it a try. Get on the path to progress today. Visit betterhelp.com/believe to get 10% off your first month. betterhelp.com/believe for 10% off your first month. As I say, you owe it to yourself. I always say you owe it to your family and your loved ones as well. betterhelp.com/believe to get 10% off your first month. So what should we get started with? Did you see the fights on Saturday?
I did, yeah.
We'll only talk about the main event. So there were some interesting fights on there. But Tatsuro Taira, Saturday night, went out and fought Alex Perez. You saw the fight. He's 16-0 now, undefeated. Alex Perez was his toughest test. I thought he was just so smoother,
so fast.
In control, on balance. He's a super, ridiculously talented and skilled mixed martial artist. When you speak to him, he was kind of bred from an early age to do this. His next door neighbor was who was it? Oh God, I want to say Akihiro Gono or someone like that. I forget.
Oh, really?
No. Yeah. He's been around legendary fighters his entire life, and you can kind of see that. And what impressed me so much against Alex Perez, tough guy, he's been around the block. He's only lost to the very best. Very, very good wrestler. Perez was trying hard to take him down, and he stopped every single takedown. The timing on the uppercuts was beautiful. And when he decided it was going to go down, he achieved it just like that. Achieved the takedown perfectly. Then he takes the back while he's standing. And then that was, I've never seen that before. Wraps up one of the hands from the back, uses it as like a lasso, if you will, leans back, leg laces, and then they go down. And sadly, I think he's tore his knee or a ligament in his knee. He's got to get the imaging done. But so that's a real shame for Alex Perez. But I was very impressed with this young man.
Yeah, I'm glad you said the word balanced. The way that he was never out of position, I guess just for regular people that don't really dig in deep into it, is as deep into it as we do, it's hard to be always in position like that 100% of the time. That's just that tells me he's really well trained. Tells me he listens very, very well, and that he's worked very, very hard at his craft. So I was really impressed by that. The speed and the fluidity of I love watching that weight class fight. The way that they transition so quickly they blend their games so beautifully. It's a lot of times it's really like watching art to me, like the way that they flow from their strikes into the takedowns, and then they get in these little scrambles, and it's so much fun to watch. And these guys, and I'm jealous because at this weight class, we can't do it like that. We just can't. We're too damn big. We'll get too tired. And you'll see flashes of it here and there at the heavier weight classes, but those guys just fight like that the whole time. And there's just so much at that weight class by and large, like 125, 135, 145 as well. They're just so much more skilled than the heavier weight classes.
Oh, yeah. It's like every weight class that you go up, it's like the skill level drops a little bit. And as someone that fought at 205 and 185, that's an insult to myself, but it is just true. And I think, like bigger guys, all right, let's do it the other way. Shorter guys, they always have, like shorter guys, they're always crazy coordination. You know what I mean? They're always the break dancers. They're always the people that can, do backflips and all kinds of stuff. It seems to be the shorter you are, the more coordinated you are, and the bigger you are. And I'm sure there's something to that. I'm sure there's something to do with the brain signals. It's got to go further or something like that. Because my older brother, Conrad, is 6'6". He's an absolute monster of a human being. Granted, he's pretty much blind now and he's severely disabled. Shout out Conrad. He's still not a victim, though. You never hear him complain about anything. But he was always a clumsy bastard. He's an absolute giant, but he was the clumsiest ever. And the bigger guys, I'm not saying if you're big, you're going to be clumsy, But
you're clumsier than 125 pounds for sure.
Goddamn right you are.
I don't, and I think that some of it, especially in mixed martial arts, some of it is the consequences are lesser at the lower weight classes, so they can get into the pocket and throw these 7, 8, 9 punch combinations and hit an angle and dive in on a leg, and they can get away with some of that stuff. Because if they catch a stray on their way in. Not saying these guys can't knock each other out because we've seen Usyk do it. We've seen Pantoja do it. We've seen Figgy do it. I mean, they can do it. There's the guys that will do it. But across the board, I think in the larger weight classes, we have to be more wary in the pocket and we can't be as active because you catch a stray at 205 and you're probably getting put down.
Yeah, listen, I agree with what you're saying. I'm sure Steve Usyk would disagree when he's just knocked somebody out. And people like Davison Figueiredo. Of course, we're not saying that people
I'm not saying they
don't have power.
Yeah, they got power.
But generally, you know.
That's why I think a lot of times some of the female fights end up being so damn exciting because a lot of times they don't sit down on the punches the way that, and not saying that females can't knock each other out. We see it all the time, but across the board, I think they get into these fights that are so exciting because they're so back and forth and they just sometimes don't have quite enough power just to one punch knock each other out all the time, which makes it for a better fight.
On the prelim Saturday night, there was a girl, Carly Judice, taking on Gabriela Fernandez. I don't know if you saw that one.
I've seen the highlights. Yeah.
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And to your point, they beat the shit out of each other for 15 minutes. And it was actually really high level stuff. That Carly Judice only had 4 professional fights. So when I saw that on paper, before I'd done my research, before I'd watched her actually fight, I was like, it won fight of the night. Thank you, Harrington. It should have done. I was like, 4 fights? She had 3 fights and she was on the contender and she lost. I was like, seems a bit early. Then I watched her contender fight, the losing effort, and I was like, oh, shit, that was good.
Shit,
and then Saturday night against Fernandez, Jesus Christ, what a fight that was. It was unbelievable. I'd say Saturday night, I had a bad night, man. I had a migraine the entire show. I was hating life.
You ever take any migraine meds? Like, so my wife gets real bad migraines, and so if they get really, really bad, she has these injections. They're like kind of like an EpiPen, so she takes those a lot. I've
got them in the fridge. Emigaltil, what's it called?
Yeah. What hers is. And then she used to take one that made her tired, so she would take it.
You have to keep them in the fridge, don't you? And they're big old pens.
No, hers aren't in the fridge. She don't have whatever one she has.
They're massive. They hurt like as well, but they don't really work. They didn't work for me anyway, to be honest.
Hers, the one she used to take, she kind of had to stop taking them because because she can't really give them to herself, and it's always a good excuse for me to grab her butt because I can just pinch her little butt cheek and then hit her with the injection. But then they would snow her for a couple hours.
Could be taken out of context what you just said.
Yeah, probably. But she'd be exhausted and like groggy for a couple hours, and she'd have to go to sleep. But these new ones, I'll give her the injection and she said she feels a little funky for like 15 minutes, but then after that, it's gone and she's fine. I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah, no, I've probably had it because I've tried a bunch of stuff, and then I have these things, Nurtec, I think they're called. You dissolve them under your tongue. Nothing really works. I need surgery on my neck again. That's why the headaches come. So
yeah.
Anyway, nobody cares about that. We don't want to hear about that. Harrington, show yourself, please. Welcome to the show. So we got finally a statement from Conor McGregor. Let's have that, please.
Let me.
Because it's only fair to say, we were all talking about it. Mm-hmm. Now we have the official statement. Harrington,
he said, very tough to be ruled out of my scheduled return bout. I picked up an injury prior to the press conference that required more time to heal than was available to me. The decision to postpone the fight was not made lightly, but one made in consultation with my doctors, the UFC, and my team. My fans and opponent deserve me at my best for this fight, and we will get there. Thank you for the messages of support. I'm in good spirits and confident I'll be back.
I mean, it's the same thing what you're saying about Jamal Hill as well, to be fair. It's the same, and you can't go in there. Not enough time, and certainly for McGregor, if you've had 3 years away from the sport,
what's another 6 months?
Well, yeah, or 2 months or 3 months, whatever the case may be. That's actually a really good point. What I was going to say was, given the form, he's only been fighting at the highest level, but losing fights as well. He lost 2 to Dustin, beat Cerrone, lost to Habib. You don't want to come back and lose. When you could just push the fight back a couple of months. And I'm not saying he would lose, but managers around him should say, dude, you can't train properly. Let's just postpone the fight. So there it is. What do you know about Jamal? What can you tell us? I mean, how's he doing? When did all this break?
It sounds like, it kind of was real time. He pulled, they called me and got it done, and Dana announced it all in the same day. So it seemed he got the fluid drained off of it. He had a Baker cyst on the back, which apparently I've never heard of it before, but apparently they're really, really painful. Plus,
yeah, I've had one.
I believe it's 2 meniscus tears and like an MCL, like a
sprained ACL, Baker cyst, and 2 tears in the meniscus.
Yeah, he's pretty nasty in there. It was swollen really bad on Saturday before. But it sounds like he's not going to be out too long. He just can't train for a couple weeks. Yeah. So you can't go in there and fight like that.
Is that the same leg as what he tore the?
I think it's the other one.
It's the other leg.
I believe it's the other one. Yeah.
So what do you think there? Because I was going to say, I mean, you're saying, I think it's the other one, which, so that initially is a bad sign. But I would say,
it makes a lot of sense. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Well, because it's overcompensating.
Yeah, you see people run into that where they have hip problems and they're all off a line, and their hips are messed up, and the opposite knees jacked up because you've been limping, you're on crutches, your gait is off, you're just walking funny. So then you start having issues on the other side.
Well, I got 2 knee replacements because I had my left knee was for ages and my right knee was overcompensating, so then that started degrading as well. No, I was just kind of thinking if it was because of the Achilles causing the knee to have an issue, and then that could cause
then the Achilles could have a problem
career-wise down the line. But no, it's just one of those things. It could have happened to anybody, Achilles tear or not. So Jamal, get better soon and all that good stuff. Harrington, give us a story then. Come on, what have you got?
Looking for the non-MMA or the MMA?
Give us non-MMA.
Okay. I thought this one was kind of fun. A design studio. Sorry, my brain literally just broke for a second. A design studio in New York has this new idea of how to release frustration and tension, for New York, where, things have gotten kind of bad lately. They have installed public punching bags, like a few hundred places around the city. It says punch at your own risk, and it is attached to a light pole. But yeah, have at it.
Have you seen these?
Hold on. Harrington, have you seen these?
Have you seen one yet?
I have not seen them, but they are right around where I am now in the Lower East Side. So I'm going to go try to find one.
We're going to need you to go take a picture with one and then post it and tag all of us.
No. Take a video of him punching it.
Yes.
And then
find a stranger.
Kind of assess. So the idea is to stop people getting so annoyed and wound up, you just punch that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to work. Do you think that's going to work, Anthony? If you're having a really bad day, if you're having a bad day, do you know what I mean?
And you're walking in New York.
Yeah. thousands of people.
And you look like a idiot where you just like you're going off about your wife. This bitch, she don't know me.
Could you imagine? It's like, oh, you see Anthony Smith? He was in New York at the weekend, just randomly punching a lamppost with a bag on.
Oh, like you're gonna go viral so fast. So fast.
Oh,
could you imagine? Like, you know, we're working the MSG event, me and you, and the event ends. We're walking on the street. Michael Bisping and Anthony are having a couple beers. We're half a little tuned up after the fight.
Carry on.
Some guy bumps into Mike, pisses him off. But thank God he's by one of these punching bags that is attached to a pole. And then the whole world just sees this viral video on Twitter of Mike just going to town on this punching bag.
I mean, look, listen,
funny.
It's not going to take care of your problems. I mean, if you have that initial outburst of anger and all the rest of it, maybe it'll stop you punching someone. But you've got to be within, one of those
punching
lampposts for it to happen. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think there will be.
How much money do you think that cost to put hundreds of those around?
It's got to be a gimmick. I guarantee there's like some kind of branding on there or something. It's got to be, because that is not. And I'm amazed that they would even allow that to happen. New Yorkers are so stressed out. We're just going to have random punch bags everywhere for people to punch. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
well, I mean, there's so much weed around there. I can't imagine anyone even gets angry. Like here in Denver, you'd be hard pressed to find someone in a street fight in Denver because everyone's smoking so much goddamn weed.
Really?
It's a bunch of zombies walking around here. Nobody's fighting.
I've only been to Denver once when Jon Jones fought Quinton Rampage Jackson. Yeah, that's the only time I've been there, and I was in and out for a few days. But people in New York are uptight, though. Anytime in the big cities, you know what I mean?
Stressed.
I always wanted to live in a big city, and now I don't at all. I wanted, coming from Clitheroe, small town, I wanted to live in London, wanted to live in New York, wanted to move to LA. Now I'm glad I live where I live. We got some nice trails and stuff by our house, a bit of country there. Yeah. I like to visit, though.
I like to come in for a few days, but by that time I'm ready to leave. I'm ready because I really like New York. You get to like 3 or 4 days, I'm like, God, I'm ready to get the out of here.
Last time we were there, what was it? The MSG card.
Yeah,
and I was like,
well, it's so busy. Like, not that I'm tooting my own horn here, but you like your schedule and my schedule, and it's like, this is insane. Like, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday of just absolute chaos. It's there's just, you're working so much.
That's what you got to do, though, to pay the bills, Anthony, or step in there on short notice against Carlos Ulberg. If you had to pick one thing about Carlos Ulberg, a weakness that you have seen, unless you don't want to say, what would that be?
I don't think he has any glaring ones. I think his willingness to back up to the fence, I think at the highest level will get him in trouble.
Interesting. I understand what you're saying, because that would be the way for you to take him down to time. Obviously you got to engage on the feet. You got to engage on the feet, time a perfect takedown away from the fence, out in the open, because against the fence, it's easier to defend the takedowns. You can work the overhooks, the underhooks, the pummeling. You can lean on the fence. You use the fence to stand back up. You wall walk and all the rest of it out in the open.
But if he's got big guys throwing big shots at him and they're not shooting, it takes away one complete area of escape. So then it makes you predictable in your defense. You can only go left and right. So I think at the highest level, that could get him in trouble with those big, long, rangy strikers. Like you let Johnny Walker or something like that back you up to the fence and corner you. You only can go left or right. So there's a 50% chance you're going to eat something on the way out.
Yeah. So I commentated his fight on The Contender, right? And I've got a bunch of notes on him. But we're not talking about fight stuff here, guys. Don't worry. We're not going down the Carlos Ulberg, Anthony Smith rabbit hole that deep.
You better just screenshot that shit and send it this way.
Yeah. Oh, I will do. There's no. It's just about his fights. You know what I mean? There's no secrets. But he was a contender. He was on The Bachelor, I think, in New Zealand. Did you know this?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm trying to.
He's a good-looking guy.
He's a good-looking.
He's a handsome fella. He really is a handsome fella.
He's a handsome fella. So, hold on, here we go. Here's some more I can't find it. Yeah, he was on the content. Just bring up a picture of him, Brian. Let's have a look.
He's so good looking.
He's a good looking bastard.
If I look like that, I wouldn't be fighting.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I think when he was on the Contender, he had a great matchup. He had a great fight. He kicked the hell out of his opponent. Look at this guy.
He looks like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's son.
Oh, look, he's a handsome devil, Anthony.
He's a good-looking guy.
Hey, put in Carlos Ulberg Bachelor. See if you can find, The Bachelor. See if you can find something there.
Look how stupid I'm going to look standing across from this guy.
Yeah, put Carlos Ulberg, The Bachelor.
Look at this. Why Kiwi UFC hunk turned down The Bachelor.
So he turned it.
UFC hunk.
Bachelor chasing.
They're chasing
headline,
him.
Brian? Bachelor chasing ridiculously good-looking UFC fighter Carlos Ulberg. Ridiculously good-looking. Jesus
That's something
Christ.
no one's ever said about me.
I don't think no one's ever said that about me for damn sure. It's funny because
you son of a bitch. They get it all. You get to be good-looking. The Bachelor wants you, and you can fight.
And
That's
you can
bullshit.
fight. Yeah, he's the trifecta.
Fuck him and Luke Rockhold.
Agreed. I was in Atlanta with Jon Anik, and he says, "Look at that. It's easy for you, Mike." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, you're tall, you're handsome." I said, "I'm not really handsome." He said, "Oh, you think you're not handsome?" I said, "Dude, I'm not handsome." He goes, "You're definitely handsome, Mike. Trust me. You don't think that's opened doors for you? You don't think that's why you've been able to do this, that, and the other?" And I was like, "Well, John, thank you very much. I really, really take that as a compliment. But let me tell you right now, when I was a kid, I was not classed as handsome, mate. Jesus Christ, I had bad hair, bad clothes, bad teeth. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Didn't know how to speak to girls, was awkward as hell, was always in trouble, always getting in fights." I said, yeah, that's it was just hilarious that he said that. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I'll take the compliment.
No one's ever said that about me.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, that Anthony, he should have speak good for a guy that looks how he looks.
They probably say that you speak good for someone from your neck of the woods, because you don't sound like you haven't got like an overly hillbilly accent there, Mr. Smith.
No, I think they just expect me to be a meathead idiot.
White trash.
Yeah, just like, you guys would fight. And, I think that's what people expect. I think that's what they expect.
I think that's what everyone expects from UFC fighters.
I think so.
Maybe not these days. I think
sometimes it's offensive though. They're like,
being so
you speak
popular.
pretty good for what? For what? What are you going to say? For what?
Yeah. For a fighter?
Yeah.
We're very, very smart people. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're not idiots, all of us.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
there's your Mike Perry's. They're out there. But I love Mike Perry. I love Mike Perry too. I'm just kidding.
I'll take Mike Perry, who's someone that's known for being really smart in the UFC. He was like a really, really smart person.
The jiu-jitsu guy, the BJ Penn.
Oh, God, what's his name?
Ryan Hall.
Yeah, Ryan Hall. Yeah. I'll take Mike Perry over 5 Ryan Halls any day of the week.
Yeah, for sure.
Ryan Hall,
I would love to listen to color commentary from Mike Perry.
Ryan Hall's a lovely guy. I've commentated fights where he's been cornering and fighting, and I've chatted to him at the bar and all the lovely guy.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed.
But give me Mike Perry.
Yeah.
All day long.
If I'm having a beer with someone, I'm going to choose Mike Perry.
Who's another smart person? He will be one of the smartest. George St. Pierre.
Yeah. Corey Sandhagen's really smart too.
He is. Give me Mike Perry. No offense, Sandhagen.
Yeah, I love them both.
I'll to be honest, I'd take Mike Perry over most. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I might take George once.
I'd take George over Mike. I would.
I would once. Just because I've heard that when he was younger, that George St. Pierre was a lot of fun.
Oh, he still is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a lot of fun back in the day. And he's still a lot of fun now. I'm telling you, George knows how to unwind and enjoy himself. He really does. But on the Mike Perry, I'd only had to take Mike Perry once or twice. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't want to be with Mike Perry all the time. No offense, Mike. Love you, brother. You know,
Mike Perry's a guy to get you in big trouble.
Big trouble.
Big trouble. Like you're sleeping on the couch. There's not great videos of you.
Probably getting fired on Monday.
Yeah, like you're getting fired. We're ending up on TMZ.
An arrest warrant for you.
Yeah, Mike Bisping's on TMZ probably. It's not good.
God damn.
Mike Perry will have you saying the N-word in an hour.
Oh, God. Because he's 2%. What was it?
It's close enough.
He's a fucking idiot.
I can't give any. I don't know that I'm only half black, so I don't know that I can give out N-word passes. But if I had one, I would give it to Mike Perry.
Yeah, well, I'm tiptoeing around this conversation very carefully. I'm like, leave me. Don't encourage me into this conversation.
Okay, I'll just. This is just
as
me.
a privileged white man. I am not partaking in this conversation. As an English privileged white man.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Jesus
Okay, we'll
Christ,
move on.
Get me cancelled.
Yeah, we'll move on.
All right, this episode is sponsored by Mando, which comes from the makers of Lumi deodorant. Mando deodorant is clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours wherever you stink, the pits, the package, the feet, and beyond. So I talk about this every time. Some people sweat a lot. The sweat dries and then you start to smell. Doesn't mean you're a freak. It just means that's just the way your body is. We're all different. So you got to take care of it. So make the switch to Mando today, the whole body deodorant, and smell your best every single day. Mando was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal body odor was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. So Mando is now clinically proven to block odor and control odor for up to 72 hours. That is 3 days if you don't know that. Baking soda free, paraben free, pH balancer, so it's safe to use below the belt. And as I said, clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. If you're listening to this and you know that you're one of those people, and maybe some of your friends take the piss or whatever, or maybe they don't, maybe you've got nice friends that don't bust your balls, right? Take care of it. You don't want to smell. If anyone's ever said it to you, give Mando a try because it will take care of it. It stops it at the source. It controls odor for up to 72 hours. So the Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers like you. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, a cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like the mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and it also comes with free shipping. So right now, go to shopmando.com, use the code Bisping to get $5 off the Mando starter pack, which equates to about 40% off the starter pack when you go to shopmando.com, and you use the code Bisping. Let's move on to, there was something I wanted to talk about. There's a lot of things going on. Khamzat Chimaev. Chimaev obviously was meant to fight this Saturday. I was super excited for that one. And we spoke about this on the last show. So we'd have to go into depth, Anthony. I heard from a pretty reliable source that it was really, really bad and he might not fight again. Well, it turns out that he had food poisoning.
Oh, shit.
And that's kind of why he had to pull out from the fight, because Dana said on his thing, didn't it, violently sick.
Right, violently ill.
I think he means literally, because when you have bad food poisoning, I've seen it. I've had food poisoning, but I've never had bad hospitalized food poisoning. Have you?
No, never that bad. I've had I don't know. It leaves you in the bathroom. It leaves you in the bathroom for a couple. Yeah, you end up in the bathroom for a couple hours. We're like, but never in the hospital. No. See, one of my kids got food poisoning really bad one time.
Really?
From I think we were
chicken.
We were at a crawfish boil, and she doesn't eat seafood. She was allergic to shellfish for a long time. Mm-hmm. She grew out of it, fortunately, but she would always eat chicken. So I don't know if it just wasn't quite cooked. Yeah, I think it was undercooked, but I don't know.
Contaminated.
Yeah, she got sick as shit. Not in the hospital, but she was really sick. She was really
chilling in the fridge with the crawfish.
You don't put crawfish in the fridge.
I don't know what you do with bloody crawfish. I ain't no hillbilly, Anthony.
Yeah, you cook them some bitches alive.
Yeah, I know, but do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Could you put them in the fridge though? Technically, could you catch them and cook them?
They're in a cooler.
That could be that's a form of refrigeration.
But they're alive. There's not like they're being cooled off, really.
Could you put them in
they would live in a fridge
water and put them in the fridge?
Yeah, they would. Yeah.
There you go. I know nothing about crawfish.
I was going to say that's not too many crawfish though, Mike. They usually, we buy them in 50 or 60 pound bags.
Oh, really?
And have them shipped alive to us. Yeah.
Do you really?
So,
I like.
they're so good. Yeah, they're so. We have to. I'm telling you, we talk about this all the time. You got to come down for a crawfish boil. No, we do talk about it.
No, I would love to. In fact, this summer after your fight, because I'm doing nothing. Do you know what? I'll come over. If you're down for it, I'd love to come over, and we'll maybe get these two other hillbillies down as well. We should, because I've got some time off after I've done. I go to Saudi this weekend, and then it's 303. And then I've got a few weeks, and in August I'm off. And we're going on vacation, but I want to go somewhere in the States that we've never been to. My God, this is the perfect opportunity.
Make a detour. We can hang out at the farm.
So Khamzat's out with food poisoning. It must have been bad because he was in hospital. What do you think of this new matchup, Ikram Aliskerov?
What an opportunity! What an incredible opportunity for that guy. I think I've only worked one event that he fought, and he couldn't be a further style away from Khamzat. And they're not even really close. But that's Robert Whitaker for you, though. You know what I mean? That guy.
Just trying to find.
He's on the rank too, right?
There was a quote from Robert Whitaker, and he said, I'm paraphrasing, words to the effect of, he'd never even heard of him. He'd never even heard
he's
of
unranked.
Ikram Aliskerov, didn't know who he was. But, I said, yeah, I'll fight him because he wants to fight. But he said he had a whole, I know, because this Dagestani, Aliskerov, is ridiculously good. Yeah. He said he had a whole game plan for Khamzat. Right, a whole game plan panned out that they've been working on for a very, very long time. They said Khamzat's very unique. Of course, he's a monster in round one. But as we know, as the fight progresses, he gets tired. And I don't think he's ever been booked for a 5-round fight or never fought in one in the UFC anyway. So you got to think the game plan for Robert Whitaker. If I'm game planning for him, it would be obviously avoid the clinch early, be light on your feet, dance around the octagon. You've got to fight. You've got to engage. You can't run away. But essentially do what you got to do to just get it to rounds 2 and 3. And then from there, you got
to win 3 through 5. You got to win 3 through 5 and do as much work or make him work as much as you can in the first 2. Stay safe, make him work hard, make him expend as much energy as possible, and you got to win 3 through 5.
I can't make a prediction because I'm commentating the card, but what do you think happens in that one, Anthony?
I mean, I'm going to feel stupid if Aliskerov wins, but I just can't go against Robert Whitaker. I just can't. He's too good at the highest level. He's been too successful at the highest level of the sport. And I'm just such a Robert Whitaker mark. Sometimes I think it does cloud my analysis and my decision making on making my picks sometimes because I'm such a fan of that guy, and not even just his fight style of just him as a person. I think sometimes people forget how young that guy is and how young he was successful. Like how high, like when he was the champion, he was very, very young. So to make the money that he's making, to have the vision on him that he had on him. There was no scandals. There was no rapper shit. That's what I always tell Jamal. There was no rapper shit. There was no stupid stuff. You didn't see him out partying. He very mature for his age and the position that he was in. I've always really looked up to that.
He's still only 33 years old, and he's seemingly been around the sport forever. I mean, granted, he's not one of
26 or something.
Yeah. I mean, fair play to the guy. And I agree with everything you said. He's just one of the nicest guys. And as you said there, maybe that clouds your analysis sometimes when you're making picks.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but we're human. And that, you try and separate that as an analyst, if I'm working as an analyst or even as a commentator, you got to be professional and all the rest of it. But you're only human at the end of the day. Sometimes.
Well, I just believe in him. I just believe in him. And I've always believed that Robert Whitaker has a set of intangibles that's just different than a lot of other people. It's like just his mindset and his will to just I've always been very jealous of how disciplined he is in his off time, like in between fights, and how he seems to do a really good job skill building and really closing holes and stuff. But he's a dad. But then when he gets in there and fights, he talks about his game plan. He's so disciplined and sticks to it to a T. I'm just a little jealous of that. A little bit jealous. I'll go off the rails quick. I'm
actually sad that we never fought. We were actually scheduled to fight twice. First time I had to have surgery on the elbow.
Would have been a great fight.
And then the next time, we were supposed to coach a season of The Ultimate Fighter. People like to say that I was ducking him and all the rest of it, but he backed out of it because of whatever reason. So that's why it never materialized. Remember, because we squared off in the cage. I wish I could have fought against Robert Whitaker, only out of respect, because that's how much I like the guy. But you know what? When he's not fighting, he's a family man. He's at home. He's playing the video games and Twitch, whatever he does. But he still knows how to enjoy himself. Because remember when we were in Paris? And it was Tai Tuivasa. Who did he fight? Who did Tai fight?
Tai fought, he fought Cyril Gane.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, of course you did. And then we had a few drinks, but then you went off to bed because you were with your wife and your baby, right?
The baby was there, yeah, too.
Correct. So you went to bed. I didn't go to bed. I was hanging out with Robert Whitaker and Tai Tuivasa, and I spoke about this a bit, but the point I'm making is he's a guy that knows how to unwind, relax, enjoy himself. He was having a good old time.
Good.
Rightly so, man.
That's even better.
It is. So who wins? Whitaker?
Yeah, I'm going to go Whitaker. I feel like if you're preparing for Khamzat and you believe truly that you were going to beat Khamzat, you got to believe that he would beat Aliskerov, because I probably was going to pick him to beat Khamzat too. So if I'm going to pick him to beat Khamzat, I got to choose him to beat the guy that's unranked.
I know that Khamzat was the only guy to beat Aliskerov, right? His record, I forget what it is. It's like 17-1. The one loss came to Khamzat, but I'd never seen it. But because this fight's taking place now, some social media accounts shared it. Oh my God. Brian, just see if you can find it, please.
Was it a good fight?
Khamzat knocks out Ikram. Oh, no. I think it was first round.
He said, no.
dude. The right hand from Khamzat. Boom. The guy, the close here, Ikram Aliskerov falls into him. It's like, it's a sickening knockout.
Oh, really?
It is like, because we know Khamzat has power. Look at the Gerald Merichar fight. We know he picks people up and ragdolls them and stuff like that. But Jesus Christ, and this is against Ikram Aliskerov. That's the only loss on his record.
That's the only loss he has.
Pull it back. Oh, listen, the way he falls, it's like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, look at this. Boom.
I mean, he's unconscious.
In the follow-up shot. He is out.
Just let me see that one more time, Brian, and let me just see a little bit more of it. And this is me doing research Saturday night whilst also doing a podcast. Man, as a fan, I'm really disappointed that Khamzat versus Whitaker is not happening. Hey, and I'll tell you what, he got in there with that.
Look at his eyes.
That was nasty. Oh. Thanks, Brian. Yeah. No, that'll give you nightmares. All right, so listen, we're talking about Robert Whitaker there. It seems like a segue in here because it just broke that Dricus du Plessis will be fighting Israel Adesanya in Perth, Australia, which I don't think is any big surprise. That seemed like the fight that was going to happen. What's your thoughts on that, Anthony?
Well, I'm a little bit surprised. Not surprised, because we kind of knew it was going to happen. But, man, if that doesn't speak to the star power of Israel Adesanya to slide into a title fight off a loss, after there's been other contenders and guys that have fought that have won since then.
I understand what you're saying. I also think there is some merit to what he did as a champion.
Yeah.
I mean, he lost to Strickland.
On short notice.
Well, it wasn't short notice for Izzy. It was short notice for Strickland.
Right.
You know what I mean? He still had the benefit of a full camp. And Strickland made him look bad. It was a terrible night. But we know that generally he does fight better than that. But Strickland does have an ability to do that to people. But I think with the amount of times that he did defend the belt, I think the back and forth that him and Dricus had, because they were, I think they were originally supposed to fight, right? That's why Sean stepped in.
Yeah, du Plessis wouldn't take it because he was banged up after the Whitaker fight.
Yeah, that's right. So I don't necessarily have a problem with the matchup. I think it's a good fight. I'm interested to see it. I think Saturday night, this is me being a matchmaker. What do you think? Saturday night, if Whitaker, and it's a big if with this Ikram, if he gets the job done, and maybe it's just the fan in me, Sean Strickland, Robert Whitaker, number one contender matchup.
Yeah.
I would love to see that fight.
Sign me up. Sign me up. That's the fight. But I don't know that Sean's going to take it. Sounds like he's going to. He said, and these things change when they get into these negotiations and backroom conversations. But last I heard, he said that he's not fighting unless it's for a title. So
that's what he said. Yeah, that's what he said, kind of verbatim. That very matter of fact as well.
Yeah,
and he might just do that.
That would suck to not see that Robert Whitaker, Sean Strickland fight.
That's why I want to see it. That's the fight to make. I mean, what a matchup that would be. It'd be unbelievable.
What does Robert Whitaker got to do to get a title fight? You think it is beat a guy like Strickland?
It has to be, because unfortunately,
Khamzat probably would have been good enough, right? That'd have been good enough to get him a title fight.
Well, if Khamzat won, I think Dricus was saying that he wanted to fight Dricus. Sorry, he wanted to fight Khamzat. And if Whitaker beats him, if you beat the man, you become the man. And he's not the champion, but he's the undefeated prospect that everyone's high on. Yeah. The problem is for Whitaker is that he's had a lot of title shots. He fought for 3 against Adesanya. Was it 3 times? It was 3 times against Adesanya.
Was it 3?
Was it 3?
It was only 2.
Or was it? Maybe it was 2. Maybe it was 2. But regardless,
either way, it's a couple.
It was 2. It was 2. The first one he got stopped. The next one it was a pretty close decision.
Fight. Yeah.
Izzy won all the rounds, but they were most of the rounds, maybe 4-1, but they were close. They were close rounds. I think that's the only thing he got finished off Dricus. You just beat Paulo Costa, though. You beat Khamzat Chimaev. If you keep racking up the wins, they can't deny you. That's the only danger for Strickland sitting on the sidelines. We've seen that happen before. The sport passes you by, But if he was to fight Strickland, Whitaker, and if Whitaker was to fight Strickland and Strickland was to fight Whitaker, that is all day,
that has to get
every day. Yeah. It's a shame for Ikram Aliskerov because I don't think he gets a title fight with a win over Whitaker.
No, probably not.
Far from it. It raises his profile. People know who he is. Main event in Saudi. It's a great occasion.
Then it's not going to be just the listeners and the viewers here that's seen that Ikram knockout from Khamzat.
Oh, God.
Because once people are like, who's this guy? And then they'll look him up, and that's what they're going to find.
Brian, just do a Google search on Ikram Aliskerov. I wonder what the top thing that comes up is. What do you think it is? Do you think it's him getting knocked out of Khamzat?
It's got to be.
Oh, God. What a thing.
Anything that's attached to Khamzat is probably going to be pretty high on a Google list. 2009.
That's what I was famous for. I've been there. What's the top search?
No, it's the first one.
Oh, God. No. But that's on videos. Go all, Brian.
All right. It's
all right. It's quite a ways down.
Yeah, it's a ways down.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, give us a non-MMA, please, Harrington.
Okay, this is a pretty big week for your former continent. The Euros is kicked off, and there's an interesting announcement from the German police to the English who are coming over there for a football match. They said if the English tourists here could please use cannabis instead of drinking while you're here. Probably going to be a lot less fights, going to be a lot more chill. This is the police asking this after marijuana was legalized in the country on April 1st of this year.
Oh, so it just went legal. I heard it was going to
legal
be pretty soon. So, right, it's legal there now. Well, but the thing is, they'll smoke the weed.
And they'll drink.
Yeah, and they'll drink. They were like, this is great. We can do both. 'Cause the Brits used to always go to Amsterdam. You know what I mean? To party because it was legal. You go in the coffee shops and God knows what else they get into. Right. Weed is just like, the appetizer.
Yeah, it's like the sugar in your coffee.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's the thing. The Brits abroad, whenever they travel, they have a bad rep. Rap, should I say. They do because, and I know why, I've been to plenty of those resorts all over Europe. Wherever the Brits are, they're getting hammered, they're getting shit-faced, they're chanting, and then when the football's on, to be fair, it's not just the British, there does seem to be, a lot of trouble around the football games, a lot of violence and stuff like that. It's crazy, but I'm telling you, they're going to smoke the weed. They're going to smoke the weed.
They're going to drink the beers.
They're going to drink a lot of beers. A lot of beers.
What do most people from the UK drink? Like most Englishmen, what do they mostly drink? Is it beer?
Well, the cliched one, beer. The cliched one is wife beater, which is Stella Artois. They call it wife beater.
Wife beater.
Yeah. If you walk into a pub and say, "Can I get a pint of wife beater?" They'll know exactly what you mean.
Oh,
Say, why do we call it wife beater? Because you have 10 of them and you go home and beat your wife up. That's like a stupid thing. It's a stupid joke, what they say.
Oh, no.
But yeah, I mean, anything, whiskey, vodka, all the same stuff.
Yeah.
They do drink a lot of lager.
A lot of lager. Yeah, see, I can't drink the lagers.
No? What do you like to drink, Anthony? I know you like a Moscow Mule with a straw.
Like a good Moscow Mule. Yeah, with the straw.
Are you a craft beer man?
Not really. No.
Me neither.
No, it's just cheap light beers. Bud Light, Busch Light. Michelob Ultra if I'm watching my figure.
But the Michelob Ultra has no taste. I had a Coors Light at the airport yesterday morning because when you're in the airport, it doesn't matter what time it is. You're allowed a beer at the airport. You don't look like a loser having a beer at 9 o'clock in the morning if you're at an airport.
Right.
And I had a Coors Light. I was like, oh, God, it's bad. It's bad. I like a Stella. I like Peroni.
I like Stella.
But Callum loves the craft beers. Anytime he comes home, he's like, can you get some craft beer in? I'm like, oh, for God's sake, what's next?
That's a young guy thing, though, right?
You're going to grow a little twizzly mustache. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a hipster
thing. Dressing in flannel shirts and get one of those big like ear things.
Yeah,
you know what
gauges.
I mean? Get the f- out of here. Craft beer. Shut up. It's like, it's
buy
really
your own
strong,
goddamn
though.
craft beer.
It's like 12%. I'm like,
I got some friends that are from Nebraska, but they live here in Denver. So when I started training here, I used to live with them when I was here. And Nick is really into craft beers. He doesn't give a shit what it's called or what it tastes. He goes down the whole list, and whatever has the highest alcohol content is the one that he buys every time.
Yeah. Well, he seems like he's got a problem.
I'm like, well, just drink vodka like me. It's easier that way.
That's my go-to these days. I drink a lot of vodka. I say a lot. I mean, not a lot.
That's mine too. I'll have a couple beers. Like when I go to the pool with the family, like we'll go to our little neighborhood pool. Like I'll always drink beer there. But if I'm at home and having a drink, it's almost always vodka.
There's certain cuisines though that you have to have a beer with. You know what I mean?
Like what?
So if I go for Thai food, I've got to have a beer. It's got to be a beer. It's got to be a Singer beer. If I go for sushi, it's got to be a beer.
That's fair. Every time I get sushi, I get a beer. Yeah.
Indian. If you're having Indian food, you got to have a Kingfisher.
A Kingfisher.
That's the Indian.
I'll have to remember that.
They all taste the same. Yeah. Indian, Thai, and Japanese, basically. You got to have a beer with that. Italian.
Good old-fashioned North Omaha soul food. Got to have a beer, but it has to be a 40.
So what is a 40 ounce? What is the old-fashioned soul food? Oh,
it's just like
Omaha style.
Nah, well, yeah, it's like Southern cooking. A lot of fried fish and fried chicken. Love me some good fried chicken. I love some good fried chicken. Actually, last Thanksgiving, there was a soul food place that's in Omaha. And Thanksgiving, we ordered all of Thanksgiving dinner from this soul food place. It was smoked turkey, fried turkey, baked turkey, and then all the fixings. Oh, it was so good.
Cornbread.
Oh, lots of cornbread. Not lots of moist cornbread. Can't have none of that dry shit.
Cornbread.
Have you ever had really good cornbread? I'm getting hungry as shit now talking about
this. No, I'm actually starving now.
Yeah,
Instead of having some food, I downed the protein shake and half a bagel. So it's not exactly a big
It's not a meal.
No. But yeah, I haven't had good cornbread. No, I haven't had like a nice place. I've had some shitty barbecue place that has cornbread on the side and it's, you know, it tastes like a dessert to me. It's too sweet.
And it's really probably dry.
Yeah.
Chase it with a water or beer.
Yesterday was Father's Day, obviously, and I thought I'd come home to a beautiful home-cooked meal. But Rebecca's really sick right now. She had a little procedure, actually, so she's not doing too well. So she couldn't cook. So I said, I know what we'll do. We'll order DoorDash from the barbecue place that we like. But because it's so busy, because it's Father's Day, they weren't doing DoorDash. So we actually had cornbread last night, funnily enough, because we ordered from some other barbecue place. It was terrible. It was so bad. Sucks. It was so bad. It was bad. It was bad. What did you do for Father's Day?
Not a whole lot, really. I had practice. So I trained for a couple hours and then I got home. We cleaned up the house and then me and my wife and the kids went to the pool. So we sat by the pool. I had a couple beers and enjoyed the sun and then came back and one of my oldest daughter's teammates came over with her parents. We cooked some food. just grilled out real quick and sat around, just hung out, real chill.
That's the perfect day. That's what I like.
Yeah.
I don't want to go out anywhere fancy. I just want to sit at home, cook a meal. My favorite time is just barbecuing. Barbecue out in the garden. We sit around there, or maybe the pool, and then we sit around the fire pit. The kids do some s'mores. I say kids, they're not kids anymore, but they'll do some s'mores. We'll have a glass of wine. We'll play some music and just sit there for a few hours. That's to me, that's heavy.
And there's nothing expected. Like, it's not that I don't do anything on Father's Day, like around the house or helping, but there's nothing really expected of me. Like on Father's, she's always been really good about that. Like, I'm not like. She came home. I had gotten home from practice and I'd been home for about an hour. I'd like showered and all that stuff. And there was like a bunch of laundry on the bed. And I was like, all right, well, I'll just fold this. So like, I'm folding it.
Laundry on the bed on Father's Day?
Right.
You having a laugh? What's going on?
Well, this is what I'm saying. So I started doing it. Like I was folding them and I was hanging up the shirts and putting everything on hangers and separating it. And she came home and she's like, what are you doing? You don't have to do the laundry. It's Father's Day. I'll finish this. You go sit on the couch. Yeah.
I never heard those words once yesterday, Anthony.
I mean, if she had a procedure.
It's a sad state of affairs. What can I say?
There'll be more Father's Days.
Yeah, there will be. Every day is Father's Day in my house. I'm a very lucky guy. Harrington, what is Jon Jones going on about now? He's kind of discrediting Tom Aspinall's performance against Curtis Blaydes. Of course, there is a rematch. But he's talking. What did he say?
Well, he said that he was doing some film study. He said, I'm telling you guys, film study is one of my greatest strengths. If Curtis wants by knockout or ground and pound, I wouldn't be surprised. It's not about the injury. It's about your boy getting touched up. Even the moment his knee popped, he was getting punched in the face. I'm just calling what I see. The fans get so impressed with the new guy. I look at what was actually happening. I look at the tactics. I don't hop on the train and get hyped like everyone else. Stay around for a while, start breaking records. That's when you get my full attention. I've seen this story too many times.
Yeah, look, listen, he's going to say what he's going to say. I think, it's clearly obvious that I don't want to say he feels threatened, but he knows that there's a matchup looming with a very, very tough opponent in Tom Aspinall. So he's kind of discrediting him. Listen, it's funny how he leans towards the one fight that he lost and doesn't look at any of the other tape. The 69-second win over Sergey Pavlovich, the win over his opponent this weekend. What's he called? The big Volkov.
Volkov. He smashed him.
Smashed Volkov. Yeah. I mean, listen, John's going to say what he's going to say. I don't remember Tom getting pieced up, though. I think he might have landed or ate a couple of shots, but nothing significant.
Yeah, I don't.
It was 15 seconds. It
wasn't very long. Like, I don't feel like there was a lot of tape study happening there.
15 seconds worth.
But I have been critical of Tom with you at times. Sometimes he is very willing to take a shot sometimes. Like he does, because he feels so safe. Sometimes he does come in and come out, and every once in a while have his chin up on his way out, and like. So I've been a little bit critical of him there, but I mean he just fought one of the hardest hitters in the UFC and went punch for punch and won. So like, who the f- am I to complain about that? I'm just saying. Yeah, I see what John's talking about at times.
Yeah.
If you're looking at other fights, like, but no one's taken advantage of it up to this point. So
well, the thing is though, Curtis Blaydes is a real opponent though. He ain't no joke.
Well, I only say that because Tom makes me nervous when he does that. When he gets really flowy, you can tell when he starts feeling himself really comfortable. Sometimes he just come in and come out. And that's the only time I've ever been critical of him. It just makes me nervous.
Yeah. But listen, Curtis Blaydes is a threat. He's a big, strong mother effer.
You remember that ground and pound on Overeem in Chicago?
I do.
Oh,
yeah, it was nasty.
God.
I was there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was there too. I fought.
He's got ridiculous power. He's not easy to take down. He's a great wrestler. Hands are pretty good as well.
Yeah.
And he's a big, strong dude. Do you know what I mean? So
he's a big son of a bitch.
I'm glad that this fight is happening, actually, because it needs to happen. It's going to be a good matchup. Do you like that black segment on the screen?
That was weird. What are we doing here?
That was me. Sorry. Jon Jones put up I'm looking for this video. Jon Jones was talking about how Tom was getting pieced up. I saw a video right after that where it showed the whole sequence in slow motion, and Tom didn't get touched once.
I was going to say, because they just went, because I even said on commentary, I said on commentary at the time, so Curtis lands a couple of shots.
But they were to like the chest and shoulders, and
then when
Tom
I
was dodging
watched
everything.
it again, it seemed like they were just out of range. But I haven't watched it in slow motion, Brian. Leon Edwards, what was he talking about today? I saw something about Leon because obviously my mind went there. Yes, Harrington?
He was rating some fits.
Oh, that's right. Don't say fits.
Isn't that cool?
Why?
Well,
I can say fits. I'm hip. I'm cool.
No, you're not.
Bro, a lot of people might not know what you're talking about right now, or am I just that out of it?
No, I think you're probably just that out of it. I think people probably know what it is. It's just not cool to say that. It's like your kids. My kids get so mad when I use their slang terminology. So their friends will be over and I'm like, "Hey, what do you guys think of these shoes? Do I got the Riz?" And my kids go, "Oh my God, Dad, stop!"
I've never used the word Riz.
Oh, I got the Riz.
I might start doing it though, just to see what kind of reaction I get out of Lucas. But I was in New York when we were there. I had a little thing, had like a little appearance out in Long Island. And who was it? Pearl Gonzalez was there. She was like the next booth or whatever. And a friend came over and she said, "Do you want to do a fit check?" And I was like, "Excuse me? What do you mean?" She goes, "Let's do a fit check." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "Let's do a fit check." I'm like, "What the hell is a fit check?"
That?
He said, "What you do is we film you and we say, right, you say what you're wearing." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. I am not doing a fit check."
We're too old for fit checks, I think.
Well, just say, "Oh, this is a T-shirt by such and such, the shoes." I'm like, you just sound like an absolute cock.
Oh, yeah. Total douchebag.
Total douchebag. Anyway, Harrington. So Leon Edwards was doing, as you called it, a fit check on Belal Muhammad.
He was going through he was going through with an interviewer who was showing him, some different pictures of outfits that Belal Muhammad has worn, and Leon gave his commentary on them.
Right, Brian, go on. Let's play the fit check.
The first one is Usman. Now, I love leopard print, so...
I wouldn't wear it. Well, fair play.
If you could rate it out of 10, what are you saying?
It's a lot going on. I'd say about 5, probably.
5?
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's a 9 for me.
That's a 10.
I love leopard print. You've got to be confident to wear that.
For me, I give it a 5.
I agree.
Okay, the next one is your upcoming opponent. Belal Muhammad.
It's a bad one.
No, why are we giving this one?
The suit, you just look at this whole bag. It doesn't match the blade. There's a lot going on. That's what I'm talking about. The way the dress is like, yeah.
Well, stylists, or they just picked this out.
He picked himself. It looks like.
Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, they picked a bad picture there.
The worst one possible.
The best one possible, to be honest. I mean, because it's not the best outfit, if you will. But who am I? We're not fashion guru. There he is. Look, listen. He looks like right there. He's dressed like most of the businessmen in Orange County. In Orange County, they still love jeans,
the blazer,
bootcut jeans with the blazer and pointy shoes. A lot of people wear that around here, and I'm like, oh my God, Jesus Christ!
You gotta move on.
What the is this? I mean, that was never in fashion.
I think the real story is Kamaru being a 5. I thought that was a 10.
Well, I mean, it does take a lot. I would never wear that. No. Right? Could you imagine if I showed up in a leopard print suit, right, top to bottom? I kind of want to do it. I'd feel like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber when they go to that charity auction and they're like the
orange and the blue.
Yeah, the orange and the blue. Who do you think? I mean, Leon looks sharp there.
That's
nice.
Look sharp. That's nice.
That's very nice. Very nice. It's a bit much for me as well. Best dressed in the UFC, though. This is kind of whatever. We're on fit checks. Yeah. Kamaru would be up there. He's a very, as the kids would say, fly.
Very.
He's very fly. Kids don't say.
But it's all shit that I would never wear because I couldn't pull it off. Because the stuff Kamaru wears, you gotta have the personality for it too. And he's just super cool.
I went to Twitter.
I'm not that cool.
What did I asked? I said to some people just so we could talk about this to see if there was any engagement. Let's have a look, see what people said. O'Malley for the worst dress for sure. I don't think so.
He's wild. It's different, but again, it fits his personality.
He pulls it off. O'Malley makes it work for him. He has the confidence to do that. Probably Conor, the best dressed. I mean, Conor does dress well.
He does look nice. He always looks nice.
He always looks nice. It's always expensive. It's always very, very, very tight fitting, though. You know?
That is the one caveat. He could go up a size here and there.
Nothing beats David Price in a suit. That's a British boxer, and it's a bad picture. There's not too much interaction on that one. Oh. Best dressed, though, Anthony. Who would you give it to? Got to give. We need it.
I would probably say Conor.
Conor.
Yeah,
Conor or Kamaru, I'd say. Kamaru. Or O'Malley.
It has to be this suit.
Oh, yeah. The
few pinstripes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was good. That was good, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know when I went to David August to get some suits for when I commentated, he was talking about the fuck you suit there. He said, we could do a lot of like, custom stuff like we did with Conor, the fuck you suit. You know, if you've got anything like that, I'm like, I've got nothing. Do you know what I mean? All right, this episode is brought to you by Fitbod, which is an incredible workout app that actually I was recommending to someone just recently, and they weren't listening to the podcast. They were struggling to get to the gym. They didn't know what to do and all the rest of it. I said, do you know what you need? You need Fitbod. They said, why? They said, well, Fitbod will create you a personalized workout routine based on your goals, your fitness level, and all the available equipment that you have, whether that's a full gym, a few bits of exercise equipment in your garage, or just the local park, right? Fitbod will also adapt as you improve. So each workout continues to be challenging, and it will push you to continue with your progress. Fitbod will also track your recovery so you avoid burning out and you maintain your momentum. It is fine-tuned by experienced certified personal trainers to bring you the best practices and exercise science. And you learn new movements the correct way with over 1,000 high definition videos. So you can sit there, you can watch it, you get an entire workout plan. It continually changes. So you're always getting challenged. You're never going to plateau, and you start to see some results, and you beat the boredom. A lot of the time you might get bored of the same old routine. You don't know what to do, so you end up doing it anyway. Fitbod takes care of all of that. And right now you can get Fitbod. You can try it out for free when you go to fitbod.me/believe. And then if you like it, get 25% off your subscription. Or as I say, try the app out for free. If you're on the road, if you're at home, if you're bored, if you want to just start working out at home, Fitbod will do you a workout. It's all right there in the palm of your hand. It will cost you less for a year's access than one session with a personal trainer. Fitbod.me/believe. Try it out for free and then get 25% off your subscription. What else we got? Harrington, Jon Jones, we talked about that. Kamaru Usman is getting a little bit annoyed at a certain someone.
So Shavkat put out a picture, a little meme. It was Colby Covington, Kamaru, and Leon Edwards all hiding under a rock with big bad Shavkat looming over them. Kamaru took exception to it. He said, I stepped in on 9 days' notice and fought possibly the most dangerous guy in the UFC at the time, Khamzat. So what are you saying? There's nothing to say. You don't become champion and defend over and over and over because you're scared to fight somebody. Shut up. He tweeted a picture of me, Leon and Colby, under a rock or something. I'm going to save that photo. This is one of those things because he does come down here in South Florida to train at a gym I've been training at before he was even hanging. Don't pull me down now. The competitor in me is going to come out and I'm going to start talking shit. It is what it is. I understand he's young and he's hungry contender and whatnot, but there's a thing called respect. You show respect in order to get respect. When it's time for me to come out and dance, I step in the octagon and I dance all over mother effers.
It's hard to argue with the word that he said there because Kamaru's absolutely correct. He was the champion of the world. He defended it, 4 or 5 times?
5 times, I think.
5 times. I don't think he was ducking anybody. He was taking, he might have fought Colby a couple of times and he fought who else a couple of times, but that's just the way it went. He was the champion of the world for a long time and he took on number one contender after number one contender. I understand Shavkat doing his thing, of course.
That's what I was going to say. I get both sides.
Yeah, Shavkat, of course. because that's the only thing he's not doing, making noise like that. He's making noise in the octagon. He's finished everybody. He's beaten everybody, right? But I do understand. I mean, for Kamaru Usman, you do have to have a little bit of respect.
Yeah, I get why. I get both perspectives. I get why Shavkat, he feels like he gets passed over here and there. He's not getting the fights that he wants. He's had some injury problems. Like I understand all of that, but also I've been on the receiving end of, you know, some trash talk from some up and comers, and it does bother you. It pisses you off for sure. So I understand Kamaru.
If you had to pick the welterweight champion this time next year, is that name Shavkat? Because I truly believe, listen, has Belal Muhammad got a chance of beating Leon? Of course he does. Of course he does.
I think it's still Leon.
You think it's still Leon?
Yeah.
You think he beats them all? I think the toughest
fight is Shavkat.
Yeah.
But I think stylistically that matchup works for him. I like that matchup for Leon. He's been in there with a couple really good wrestlers. He's about to fight another really heavy wrestler. If he can pass that test, I think he can, striking wise, I think he's right there with Shavkat. I really do. And I think he's been defending long enough and growing. I think that he can defend the takedowns. I would love to see that fight.
So Leon, let's just say he defends against Belal.
Not to be disrespectful, but we'll just
not to be disrespectful.
For the
just
conversation.
For the sake of conversation. I'm not saying he does beat him. I think more than likely, if you put a gun to my head, I'd say Leon. But Bilal's improved, and Belal works hard, and all the rest of it, and he might pull it off. That's the great thing about mixed martial arts.
You don't know.
It's a great thing about this sport, man. You can't take anything for granted. But who does he fight next? So let's say he beats Belal. What's going on with Shavkat? He doesn't have a fight booked.
I thought he was coming. No, because Jack Della Maddalena called him out, but then Jack was hurt. But I thought Shavkat was coming back from an injury too. I
was with Kamaru a couple of weeks ago in Atlanta. We were working on a little movie together.
Okay.
I said, so what's going on, Kamaru? 185? Is that where you staying? He's like, no way. So the guys are too big up there. 170. So he's firmly got his sights on the welterweight division. Doesn't sound like he's thinking about retirement anytime soon, which is, I was not taken aback, but I kind of thought, you know, given the career that he had, given the reign that he had, no doubt the money that he's made, you know, you move on to other challenges. Maybe
stop doing this
fights.
Shit. Yeah.
Or just, you know, have a couple of big fights, maybe at 185 or whatever, and move on. But no, it sounds like he's gung-ho on becoming champion again.
All right. I love it. I love to hear that. Man, I love Kamaru, but I just feel like, I don't know, those guys are so well-rounded. And we've seen the Leon thing 3 times.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that would change.
No, probably not.
Another fight that we haven't spoke about at all, Diego Lopez, right? Diego Lopez is fighting Brian Ortega. Here's what he had to say about the matchup. He said, I know a lot of people will complain. I'm the 14th ranked featherweight. I know the UFC offered the fight to others who are in the rankings and don't have a fight. I know that they didn't take it, so they called me. And they knew that I was going to take the biggest fight of my career against the number 3 in the world. Imagine if I defeat Brian Ortega and see how the rankings change. I'll be really high in the rankings without a doubt. I'll be in that conversation to be next in line. More if I win in a solid way like I finished my last ones. I believe there's no doubt that I will deserve a title fight next. 145 pounds. Diego Lopez goes out there, beats Brian Ortega. Maybe he becomes a champion, but does he beat Brian Ortega?
I don't know. That's why this fight's so interesting to me, because Diego is such a threat on the ground that it does allow his striking to open up a little bit, because people are so terrified of being taken down by him. It opens up his strike and he starts landing these big shots on his feet. I don't think Brian Ortega is too worried about grappling with him and engaging with him in a jiu-jitsu fight. So,
but I don't think Lopez is going to be bothered about the jiu-jitsu side of things either.
No,
he's dangerous on the ground, man.
They're both so damn good on the ground. So I think that's why it's so fascinating to me. I think we end up in a pretty straight up striking match, Because honestly, I think they both know that's probably a neutral position on the ground. Like they're both going to be hard to take down, but they're also going to neutralize each other. They're probably nullifying each other's skill set there a little bit. So I think we see a lot of striking, and Brian Ortega is not nearly as dynamic, but just as powerful as anybody in that division. Willing to bite down his mouthpiece and step in the fire and throw. And Diego Lopez is seemingly willing to do the same. And it's hard to argue that he puts himself in title contention with a win over Brian Ortega. It's hard to argue.
I kind of agree, but I just had an idea as you were talking there. Let me ask you, I'm assuming because you've got a pretty busy week next week, I'm assuming we're not going to have you on the show on Monday.
Probably not.
Yeah. Well, you got somewhere better to do.
I got something to do.
How good is it, by the way, that you get to fight in Vegas?
Oh, yeah.
Down to Brazil.
Not in Brazil or Singapore or that's nice.
Yeah. So do you mind if we just run through a few quick fire predictions with you?
Let's do it.
Or are you like, shit, I might bump into these?
No, let's do it. I don't.
Good.
Right. I do my own thing.
You do. Ian Machado Gary versus Michael Venom Page. I will give my predictions next week to gives us something to talk about without you here. What do you think?
I'm leaning Michael Venom Page. Do you want
That's
more?
it?
No, you said quick. You said quick fire.
Oh no, just give me a bit of Anthony Smith analysis.
I just haven't
Not
seen.
that quick.
I haven't seen Ian Gary really engage in the grappling and wrestling part of it, and I think this would be a really bad fight to do it. Michael Venom Page is so good from the outside. He's so fast. I think that he confuses Ian Gary. He's so fundamentally sound. I like Ian Gary. I think he does a really good job. He's very good at what he does, but he is very fundamentally sound. And it seems like guys that are very fundamentally sound kickboxers have a really tough time with a guy like MVP.
No, certainly agree. I'm just looking at the card here, and I just noticed, I didn't know this before, Andrei Arlovsky's fighting on there.
Is he really?
Yeah, he is. I was just like, oh my God, fair play. I mean,
right,
when is he ever going to retire? It's crazy. He's the same age as me. And what's his record? Hold on.
A lot.
34, 23 losses. Been in the UFC since like 2000 and God knows what.
Yeah, that's crazy.
UFC, he's been since 2000. UFC 28. You know, and when
24 years. You had a little stint outside the UFC, but mostly
he went
to
Affliction, and he fought Fedor Emelianenko. When who was it?
Anthony Rumble Johnson broke his jaw in like Titan FC somewhere at heavyweight.
When Kamaru was talking about respect, he's one of those guys that you just have respect for.
For sure.
You know,
the longevity of him being around, that's crazy.
Yeah, but he was a champion as well.
Yeah,
you know,
who's he fighting?
Martin Boudet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, this is the main card. So it opens with that. Then it's Mayra Bueno Silva versus Macy Chasson.
Man, Macy Chasson has been looking really, really good in her last couple fights. And Mayra Bueno Silva didn't look very good in her last fight at all. She's insanely.
Was that Raquel Pennington?
Yeah. And she gave Raquel some fits, but compared to where their skill sets seemingly were before the fight and during it, you would think Mayra was supposed to win that fight, but she just seemed like she had a brain fart and just, I don't know, she had a tough time really sticking to the game plan. Every time her coaches told her to do something, she'd do the total opposite. She's got a lot of maturity that she needs to gain. And I don't think Macy Chasson that's a mean chick. She's just mean in there. So I think Macy gets it done.
Next up on the docket, it's a very interesting fight. It's a fascinating clash of styles. It's the most handsome guy in the UFC.
Yeah, the best looking guy versus the ugliest guy.
He's got great kickboxing. He's from New Zealand. He's got a sexy accent. He's got an excellent, sheen when the light catches him and he's sweating. And beautiful style. His style is almost as pretty as his face. He's on a 6-fight win streak. 5 of those by way of stoppage, mind you. Okay. And he's not a one-trick pony. He's knocked people out, and he's also got a submission on there as well.
Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
He's taking on this really ugly dude from Omaha.
Yeah.
Anthony Lionheart Smith. Yeah. What's the prediction, Anthony? Hold your
I think I win by finish. I think the first round is probably super competitive, but I think he drowns just in the mess that I create. I think he falls apart once we get deep. That's my prediction.
I think. I mean, look at your experience. Look at what if you're in shape, you're ready mentally, you've done the homework on him. Now it's just about executing. Of course, anything can happen in there, but
anything can happen, and he's skilled enough to win. So
he is. He is.
A lot of respect, but not too much. So that's my prediction.
I will say this: he's a really nice guy.
That's what I've heard. I've never talked to him.
You never spoke to him.
Never spoke to him, but
I've chatted to him a few times.
Fuck him then. He's nice and he's good looking and he can fight.
He's well mannered.
He's got an amazing accent. He's bullshit.
Respectful. Do you know what I mean?
He deserves to lose.
He comes from money.
It's probably better.
Loaded.
It's probably better for him that he does lose.
Teach him a lesson.
Keep him humble.
Give him some adversity.
He'd be so perfect.
So I'm doing this for you, Carlos. Right. You've just had everything handed to you on a goddamn plate.
I want him to grow as a man.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. All right, Brian Ortega, Diego Lopez.
Man, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Diego Lopez. I think that
I kind of agree.
He's streaking right now. I think he's really dangerous on his feet. I know that he's in really good shape because every single time I work a card, he is there training all week long with whoever he's there with Alexa Grasso. He was in Brazil. I mean, he's just one of those guys that he's living that life right now. I think that he's got a lot of momentum. It's going to be hard to stop. And he's a wild man. And I hold him in really high regards for that loss he took to Movsar.
Yeah.
Because that was a really good fight. And Movsar has kind of been dominating everybody since. I mean, that's the same guy that I don't want to say dominated, but, beat Arnold Allen pretty handedly by the end of it. And I think I think the world of Arnold Allen. So that means I hold Movsar very high. And I believe that with a full training camp, I think Diego Lopez wins that fight.
And Alex Perez, and Diego Lopez, he might have the best smile in all of MMA.
Yeah,
it's the most heartwarming smile.
Happy. Yeah, it makes you happy.
Yeah. I mean, who am I kidding? That's Carlos Ulberg. He's got the best smile. Of course he does. No, I was at the Apex Saturday night and I ran to the bathroom and I'm coming out and Diego walks by. He said, "Hey, brother," and he come over and I just washed my hands. I'm like, "I can't shake your hands. My hands are wet." He said, I don't care. I said, "No, you're being polite." I give him a fist bump, but just the biggest smile and the hair and everything. There's an energy to him. There really is. He's
got a different type of energy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And then, of course, the main event, Anthony. Pereira, Jiri Prochazka, the rematch. What do you think?
I think it's Pereira. I think that just for all the reasons I spoke about earlier, I think that Jiri's very hittable. I think that Alex is it's just a style thing. I think that Jiri gets put out again because I think he's so wild. If you take away what makes him so great, it's his carelessness, his wild man mentality, his creativity. All of those things do get him hit from time to time. And if we remember, he got his leg torn up in the first Alex Pereira fight, which kind of led to the mess that he ended up in. We go back to the Alexander Rakic fight. Alexander Rakic is very kick-based, not really known to be a very good boxer or really heavy-handed. And Alexander Rakic really tore his lead leg up. So he hasn't addressed that at all. So now we're going back into another fight where your leg was just torn up pretty bad not that long ago. And you and I both know how long these calf kicks can linger. It can be months and months before your leg feels the same, if it ever does again. So I think that the calf kicking problem is the kicking liability is a problem. I think that he's so hittable because of his wild man mentality. He's irresponsible on his feet.
Yeah. I've said kind of similar things.
And I say that with all respect. I love watching Jiri fight. I think he's amazing. Same. I love everything he stands for. I love his personality. I love his style. I love to watch him fight. I think he's great for the division. But if we're just speaking as analysts, that's what I see.
He's one of my favorites to watch because he is such a wild man and he has such immense power and an incredible ability to absorb damage as well, and he's all action right from the get-go. But I would be lying that when I watch Jiri Prochazka, I'm not kind of alarmed at times when I see the chin up in the air and it's kind of like a karate stylist or whatever. The hands are kind of low, the chin's up, things are kind of telegraphed. It's not smooth. It's not like in a boxing style. It's very hittable. And the problem is against somebody like Alex Pereira, if you're very hittable against somebody who's known for being the hardest hitter right now, it's never a good mix.
It's a problem. It's a stylistic nightmare for Jiri.
Never a good mix. All right. Well, listen, mate. Best of luck next week, man. Go out there and do it. I'm not going to be there. I was going to be there. Now I'm not. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be doing some stuff, recording some stuff. So I'll be in Vegas. But we're not working the fight. TNT Sports have pulled the plug because McGregor's not going to be there.
Oh, shit.
So they're not using us. They're going to use us, but no, they're not going to use us on location. I'll be slap fighting. I'll be commentating on the Friday night. I'll be there. So I'll be there a few days before.
I'll be a slap fighter.
I've got tickets to the fight, but I'm actually going to go home. I'm going to go home and watch it at home with the family because I've been on the road constantly, man.
Yeah, you've been traveling a bunch.
I'm traveling loads. It's been insane. I was in Atlanta, then I'm in Vegas. Now I'm going to Saudi Arabia. Then I'm in Vegas again to do that.
Watch it at home.
Sit down with Lucas. Sit down with the family. Watch it at home and get some quality time in. Best of luck. What do you weigh right now?
222 this morning.
Oh, you look lean.
Yeah, I'm right on. on track.
Perfect. All right. If you got any questions, send it into bympod@gmail.com. We always say try and be creative. The creativity has been lacking a bit recently, as has Harrington's ability to chime in.
What are you doing?
If you are listening on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you find podcasts, make sure to subscribe. Leave us a 5-star rating, positive review. It really helps out on those platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to find out whenever a new video drops. And if you want to catch over 500 episodes you can't find anywhere else, completely ad-free and totally uncensored, head to gasdigital.com. Use the promo code BYM to save 20% on membership.
This is a new record. Okay, so just so you guys can't yell at me, I'm going to let you pick the questions. So here is their subjects. We have a monkey man asking about pub food. We have...
I'll be honest, that sounds kind of interesting, but continue.
It's less interesting than it's titled. We have Marco asking about sleep before a fight. We have a guest request. We have threats from a little kid.
Threats from a little kid for 100, Alex.
All right, let's go threats from a little kid right now. We'll go right back to the rest of the choices. I want to see threats from a little kid. I'm with Anthony.
Yeah, I need that.
All right, so this is a follow-up from last episode. Apparently, you guys, you Michael Bisping, missed this little boy's question.
Oh.
Michael Bisping, you didn't listen to my question. I'm mad. I'm going to fight you.
So, Michael, Anthony, you didn't answer my son's question, and I'm wondering, he's out for retribution. Assuming he grows to average size, how many years should he wait before he can defeat you in a fight? Assuming he grows to average size and you grow older over the years.
Well, just
first of all, just so you guys know,
the bare cheek of him to come at me like that because we forgot the question. I will front kick him in the face. I will detach his head from his shoulders. You what, you little shit? Come here. You're gonna chat shit? Boom! I'll just toe bung him. Back of the neck. Fuck off. There you go. Take that, you prick.
I'll dust that kid. I will clean him up in less than I would 10-8 round him for sure.
I'd say he has probably 30 years to go before you guys are too infirm and he's like,
oh, I'm not going to live that long, probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you do great.
I reckon, and this is a good question, Anthony. 30 years from now, how old will you be? 60?
66.
Right. I'll be 75. I reckon I'll still take the average man at 75.
I think it's 66 if I'm still here. Just a regular run-of-the-mill average Joe, I think at 66 I'll still win that fight.
I reckon that kid, if our paths cross in 30 years' time.
How old do you think he is?
I think he's 4 or 5.
So he'll be 34 or 35. He's already out of his prime.
I would choke the shit out of him. I'm working out every day.
I'll leg kick him until he pisses his pants.
He ain't got the work ethic we've got.
No.
You know what I mean? Legends. We've paved the way.
You don't have.
We've earned the respect.
He can walk on the road that we paved.
Bro, come and see me in 30 years, you little shit. I'll wring your neck now, and I'll wring it in another 30. How about that? Don't send another question in. I'm joking.
I do love that.
Dad, thank you for the question, and please delete all the bad swear words. We apologize. What else? So what were the other options? And I like this way of doing these questions, Brian. Thank you.
Well, we had an abundance of nonsense today. So we have best place to gamble is the only one I didn't list before. So we could go back to best place to gamble in Vegas.
Nah.
Monkey Man asking about your food orders.
Monkey Man.
I like Monkey Man.
Let's go with the Monkey Man.
All right, Monkey Man.
Better be good. Oh, God. It's a filter.
Hello, gentlemen. Very nice to see you. To see you nice. So, my question is, you go to the chip shop on a Friday evening, and what do you order? I would take the fish and chips all day long.
Well, before we even answer this,
I feel like you just did that to put that filter
What's
on.
the chip shop?
The chip shop. I was having this conversation because Americans, I say this, it's kind of cliched, right? You guys all think that we all eat fish and chips, right? But fish and chips in England is not like fish and chips. You guys do fish and chips. That's lovely. You know, the fish and chips in England come from what we call the chippies. And in the neighborhoods, what they generally are is one of the houses, the front of the house, they've turned into a fish and chip shop. And in the back of the house, it's just a house. They all live there, but that's how they make a living. And they fry chips and fish and pies and sausages, and they'll wrap it up in old newspaper. And you go in there, and it used to be cheap. Now it's not that cheap anymore, you know. So, and it is so different to what is served in a restaurant. When you get fish and chips, you get nicely done fish. It's all prepared, and the fries are a certain way. You know, they're greasy as. They're wrapped up in newspaper, but they're delicious.
That sounds so good, though.
They're so good, man. They are. But they do a lot of other stuff. So to answer his question, and by the way, I met those little local chippies. There's something about them. You know what I mean? A lot of them, you know, they do curry sauce. Oh, God, fish chips and curry sauce, man. It's delicious. It's so good. I'm starving.
Hungry. God,
I'm so hungry.
Yeah, me too.
My order is a steak and kidney pudding.
Steak and kidney pudding.
Steak and kidney pudding with chips, peas, and gravy. Oof, let's go.
That does sound. I don't know. I'm getting whatever Mike's getting because that sounds good too.
Steak and kidney pudding is good. Chicken and mushroom pie. You're not working the Manchester event, are you, Anthony?
No, I'm not. It's on my birthday.
I'm going to say, do you want to come?
I actually might. Do you want to do? I actually might be there earlier in the week.
Are you serious?
I might come in and do some things for ESPN, like doing some fighter media stuff and some interviews and a feature, and then leave on Friday.
Why would you leave on Friday? That's like, what kind of idiot would go to something like 303 and be there all week and then leave before the fights?
Yeah, why would you do that? Idiot would do that? Oh, that's funny. We'll have to figure that out, though. We need to get that figured out. For
No, because I was thinking about doing a podcast out there, but
that'd be fun.
Yeah, we could do a podcast, Anthony, and we can get some real fish and chips.
And some kidney pudding and some steak. And some peas and gravy. And a lot of drinks. We'll hit Manchester, bro. Let's do it.
Right, listen, you've got a fight to train for. We're not going to mess around with any more questions or anything like that. Anthony, all the best. Brian and Harrington, do you have any last words of wisdom that Anthony needs to hear? Because without the coaching of you two, there's no way he wins this fight.
No way.
He's the most handsome bastard on planet Earth. Carlos Ulberg cannot be beaten. He's so beautiful. What advice you got, Harrington?
Oh, that. You'll kick his ass.
Anthony, it's not about how hard life hits you. It's about how you get up and you hit back and all that. And I butchered that one.
That's not the right speech.
No, you didn't even say it right.
I know.
For before.
I didn't know I was going to be put on the spot like this. You know, sincerely, your promo at the beginning of this episode got me fired up for this fight. So I've already given it. Hell yeah, it's gonna be great.
All right. Well, I'm going to train, Mike.
Go and train. Kick some ass, brother. I'm proud of you. Go out there, seize the day, all that bullshit. Fight your fight. Do whatever you can between now and then to be in the best shape possible. Go out there, do your best, man. That's all you can ever do. I'll be rooting for you. We'll be watching, cheering you on. We'll see you soon.